Okay guys, so in this video I want to talk about the right arm move, but not only in the downswing, where I'm sure lots of you will be very interested in, and it will make a big difference to your downswing, but also in the backswing position, because this is something that catches golfers a little bit off guard. Now, let's start with the backswings. That makes obviously the most amount of sense. Now, when I meet a lot of golfers that are kind of really sort of inconsistent tend to have very similar problems. So they struggle controlling the golf club up and down the sort of theoretical plane line, but this is massively a byproduct of not understanding sequence. So what I mean by this is what you are looking for in the backswing position. So I'm not necessarily going to say first not necessarily this far back. Like, I tend to use a reference of about sort of 4 feet back. Okay, so pretty much just beyond the edge of the mat here. And the reason for that is because I think it's easier for golfers to sort of just, you know, one, you can see where your club head is. 2, you can keep your arms nice and straight at this stage. And it's just easier. That feels a little bit more like a stretch and probably a little bit too far. So what you are looking for though is, as I sort of take this club back to this sort of, you know, first position that I'm going to reference it about 4 feet back, you can see the way that my head stays really still. You can shift a little bit away this way. Okay, and you might find that happens very naturally when you start to introduce width, which means this way, right, not this way. And then from there I keep my head still, and that's stretching my arms. That's basically what we're looking for in that sort of takeaway move. Now I will advance it further on, and what's more important is I'll show you from this sidearm perspective. So what you can see is, as I move my hands and arms to the side of my body in the takeaway and I advance it further up, you can see the way the club face looks sort of parallel towards the plane line. Now, the reason for that is because my hands and arms move kind of close to my body. So if my arms go further out, then basically this induces more rotation, so the club face will look more open. But also what happens with most amateurs is that they start turning too soon. So instead of just moving the hands and arms in that first phase, like so, or inducing a bit of sort of what I could say is linear motion this way, what they tend to do, or maybe you're doing, is you tend to turn. Now the problem is when you sort of tend to turn, one, the club will be dragged underneath the plane line, but also your club face is going to start to look really open. And if you kind of are aware that your club face is, if you're aware that your club is under plane, but you're not understanding it's because of your sequence, then what you'll start to do is you'll sort of move like this, and then you'll start to try and go straight back because that's what you've been told to do. But now theoretically your arm's really disconnected from your body, which is why the club face looks really open. And this may look exaggerated, but you'll be surprised how many times I sort of encounter this problem. So the point that I'm trying to make is your arms, okay, and the club face are going to be very much dependent on how connected they are. And this is the same in the downswing position, okay, and this is the thing. So as I kind of start my downswing position, and I'm just going to take my left hand off the club so it's easier to see, I'm going to sort of turn my body, you know, while shifting my weight towards the lead side. Now, what needs to happen is, as we start the downswing, you need to keep your forearm pointing up towards the sky, and you need to kind of move your elbow to the side of your body, okay, like this, as I'm demonstrating. Now what this is doing is this is kind of just helping me bring the club down the sort of plane line. And what we can see from the face-on perspective is, see the way the club head, as I do this, goes away from me, okay? So it's not this, okay? You've got to keep that forearm pointing up towards the sky as you initiate the downswing. But the point is that will feel really open. Golfers are like, you know, especially golfers that I teach that sort of get here, you know, the last thing they want to do is do that because it opens up the club face, but you're going to have to, right? Now, the reason why it won't look like this coming down is for the points that we mentioned earlier, because if I now turn my body down this way, okay, you can see the way that changes the way that the club face looks. See, now my club face looks completely different compared to if I was to sort of transition incorrectly and get stuck like this. Okay, now the club face looks really open, and then if you're the kind of golfer who goes, oh, my face is really open, I'm going to have to either strengthen my grip or excessively arm rotate, what I'm basically saying is you're probably misdiagnosing your own golf swing, and that's what happens a lot. The message of the story is, in the backswing position, understand sequence. So make sure that you are getting your hands and arms to the side of your body like so, and make sure they are moving very much first. And what you should find is your club face will look roughly perpendicular, parallel to your spine. Then from there you can kind of swing up, and as you start the downswing position, you want to kind of get the feeling of turning your body down and left, and you basically want to be brave by keeping your right forearm up to the sky for as long as you can, because as much as that will feel like the club face is really open, in reality it's actually going to bring the club face correctly on the back of the golf ball. And if you can do that, that's when you will start to learn how to hit the golf ball with those sort of feelings of where my arms are here, they can stay nice and square and they point up towards the sky, as opposed to excessive arm rotation. So hopefully this video has sort of helped you visually understand that the club face will be a byproduct of arm connection and body sequence. So hopefully that helps, and I'll see you guys again really soon.